Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my video series, Life and Spiritual Coaching. And this month, it is all about keeping the balance. So think about that. Everybody's running in 20 different directions at the same time, and we sit here and wonder like, oh my God, what am I doing, right? So tonight we're going to talk about how much is too much, how to determine what's best in this moment, and how can we bring ourselves into a balance that brings us peace and harmony, right? Peace and harmony. Because, for some people like myself, 20 years ago when my kids were small, it was, pre-K and then, regular grade school. And, then it began, sports, and then it began little things at school and all these different things and going to friends' houses. And, luckily for me, I could stay home with my kids. So I was able to run around and get them everywhere they needed to go and bake the cupcakes for the birthday parties. And, but I look at people today and I'm going, wow, like, I think there's much more unbalanced now than when I was staying home with my kids. And, again, I'm grateful I was able to do that. Not everybody can do that. But it's still, you can still get into a big unbalance when you don't even work a job. You know what I mean? Not that kids aren't a job, because believe me, they are, especially when you have three all together, only a year apart, so it's like, what is going on? So let's start with this question. Have you ever gotten up in the morning and going, I don't know what the hell I'm doing today? Right? Think about that. Many of us wake up in the morning going, okay, what am I supposed to do today? And if you don't write things down, you don't remember, you forget to do things, you forget to make calls, you forget to appointments, you forget so many different things. And you're like, I was supposed to do that today, I forgot. Because we have so much on our plate, it's sometimes almost impossible to remember everything we're supposed to be doing. So let's simplify things a little bit. I think a lot of parents today get their kids involved in so many different things. And of course, most people have multiple children. So you're running to baseball and softball and hockey and tennis and swimming lessons and theater and soccer and, oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. So how do you keep a balance with everything? One, when you get up in the morning, take a deep breath. Spend 3 seconds to go, I am grateful for this day, right? Or I'm grateful I woke up. Then set some intentions. Today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a day of balance, a day of gratitude, a day that goes by simply and easily. And I know I will have all the time I need to get everything I need done today. Okay? Gratitude and attention is a huge thing. Now, again, we go back a couple minutes ago to when I said, when is too much too much? When you can't get to everything on time, you can't get everything done in a day, and you're up until midnight, 1 a.m. trying to get everything done, and then trying to survive the next day on 4 to 5 hours sleep, that's really too much. It really is. So, how do we take care of this? Simplify your life. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, yeah, easier said than done. But think about it. When you are going crazy, running around, and you're all over the place, and you have so much to do, and so many places to be, and so much things to get done, and this isn't done, and that's not, how do you feel? Think about that. How do you feel mentally, emotionally, physically? You probably feel worn out. You probably feel drained. You probably feel exhausted. And that can be physically and emotionally or mentally, okay? Or all three. To have balance in your life is to have a life that seems way more fulfilled, way more happy, way more breathable, okay? So how do you simplify? If your kids want to be involved in all these different things and you have to work and you have this and you have that, hopefully you have a partner with you, husband, wife, or otherwise, that works with you to get the kids to where they need to be. Or if not, a family member that can help you out. Don't try to be Superwoman or Wonder Woman, okay? It's very hard at times. You know, it is. It's very, very hard. Now, the same is true for those of you who don't have kids. If you're someone who is a grown adult, you have a husband, maybe your kids are still small, but you know, nothing too crazy. You know, maybe say later teens or early 20s, or maybe they've moved out already, you know, like mine have. But your parents are still around. And now your parents are getting older and maybe not as healthy as they were in the past. So now what? So now you're working your job, taking care of your home, you have a significant other, maybe you have some pets, maybe you have plans with friends, but in the meantime, you're running over to mom and seeing how she's doing. You're checking on dad to see how he's doing. Then mom's in the hospital. Then you're taking care of dad because mom's in the hospital, and then vice versa, or any of those things. These are all different things that can happen for you. So it does make it very difficult at times to keep a balance when those things happen. But you know what? Your parents getting older and being ill is temporary. No matter how you want to look at that. Whether it means they're going to get better or they're going to pass someday. You know, your parents took all the time in the world to help you out to grow and to learn. So sometimes we need to do that for them. But again, we have to have balance. It depends on your circumstances on whether or not you can do that for them. So that's something only you can determine. But even your kids, they're going to grow up. They're going to go to different stages of life. They're going to eventually get licenses and cars and go off to college. And so that, you know, it's temporary. Do you always worry about them? Yes, of course. But they have to go off and live their life. So this is where life might get a little simpler for you. You may worry a little bit more, which is normal, as long as you're not over worrying, because that's not good for you, okay? And we can't always worry about things we can't control. So bring it back to the balance. For right now, where are we at? Maybe you're working 40 hours a week, and maybe you're grabbing all the overtime you can. Maybe you're a little short on finances, so you want extra money. That's great. But what is it doing to you physically, emotionally, mentally? Are you paying attention to when the universe is going, hey, I think you've had enough? And I know you all know this because it's happened, I'm sure, many times. It's happened to me. You go and you go and you go, and that little voice in your head is like, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. Take a break. Breathe, right? And yet the boss will say, do you want to come in and work some extra hours? And you're like, in your mind, you're hearing, oh, no. Okay, I'll do it. So now the universe is going, oh, here she goes again, or here he goes again. And then what happens? You push, and then finally the universe steps in and whacks you in the head and goes, nope, you're done. Down and out, got a cold, got the flu, got something. Something is making you sit still. Now think back. It's true. It is very, very true. I'm sure you can look back and say, wow, yeah, I do remember running myself ragged and then getting sick. You run yourself ragged, and what happens is you make your body so tired, mentally, emotionally, and physically, that your immune system drains. So the littlest bit of a bug that goes by you, boom, you got it. Okay? You can't run your body ragged like that. It's no good for you. Sometimes you got to say, you know what? The dishes can wait. You know what? The laundry can wait. I'll sweep the floor another day. You know, and I know some people are very OCD about being clean, and, you know, and I get that. It's fine. But at the same time, if you're that exhausted, it's not going to kill you to let it go for one day. Right? Let go of the control issues. Focus on your health, mentally, emotionally, physically. And when those three are in order, you're in complete order with your spiritual self as well, whatever that is, you know, whatever that means for you. So Finding balance can bring a sense of fulfillment, meaning in life. Finding balance means taking care of yourself. It really does. So I say to you, what can you do on a daily basis to take care of yourself? Because believe me, when you are taking care of yourself, everything around you seems to work perfectly, or at least almost perfectly. And what I mean is, like when I get up in the morning, my feet hit that floor, and right away in my head, I'm going, I am grounded. I'm grateful to be alive, and today's going to be an amazing day. That's me, okay? I set my intentions throughout the day. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's going to flow. It's going to be financial. It's going to be positive. It's going to be uplifting. It's going to be healing. Whatever comes through my mind, but that's always there. For me, I like to schedule things in my day. Not even on a work day, of course, people schedule to come see me, but even on my days off, it's like, okay, I know I need to go to the store. I know to go to the bank. Oh, that's right. I said I would go visit a friend. So let me make sure I do that. And I do. I actually write things down because it's very easy, especially in today's timeline. I don't know if it's the internet, if it's the phones, or what the hell it is, but everybody gets distracted so easily and so quickly. So I always say, write things down. And if you want to use your phone, by all means, put it in your notes, put it in your calendar, whatever you need to do. But it's like, okay, so you know what? I got up. I take my time in the morning. I'm not one of those jump out of bed, throw some clothes on, brush the teeth, and out the door I go. I like to get up. I feed the dog. I pour some coffee, take a few sips of coffee. I take the dog outside. We come back in. He gets his treat, and I sit and enjoy my coffee. I don't just chug it down and like rush to get dressed and all that. I take my time. I might check my emails. I look outside. I like to watch outside because where I am, it's very wooded. So sometimes I get to see deer or turkeys or whatever else comes crawling through the backyard. But I like to do that in the morning. I like to kind of, and I hate to say de-stress because it's not really de-stressing because I just woke up, but it's almost like kind of like center myself. You know what I mean? Stay nice and centered, aware, balanced in my mind, okay? And then when I'm done with the coffee, I have a little bite to eat, right? Then I go get ready. I get dressed, I do all my things, whatever I got to do, make my bed. That helps me feel very organized as well, making my bed. I don't like an unmade bed, but I have left it unmade because if my cat was sleeping on it, I'm not going to disturb the cat to make the bed. And I don't let that bother me. It's not a big deal. And then I go about my day. I go off to work, and then I see my clients and do whatever I got to do, and then I go home and I have dinner and I finish up, clean up, and then I just relax. Sometimes I draw, sometimes I'll just watch a movie, whatever it may be. So, those are my things. Now, of course, I'm single and my kids are all grown, so the only thing I really have to take care of is myself. So I do have a lot more time than most people to do whatever I want to do. But again, even as a single person, I can still find myself getting very busy. Like, oh, that's right, I wanted to do the laundry. Oh, that's right, I wanted to wash the dog bed. Oh, that's right, I wanted to wash the blankets that the cats lay on. Those kinds of things. It's like all over the place. And sometimes, yes, I catch myself. Like, I'll be washing this and I'll start cooking something over here. And then it's like, oh, I forgot to water the plants. And then it's like over there doing, I'm like, wait a minute, I got to go back and finish what I was doing. I catch myself. Because I know I'll start doing 20 different things and nothing gets finished, and that's not a good thing. So focus on what you need to do every day. Let go of what you can let go of. And make sure you're asking for help. Help is important. A lot of people, and I can attest to this because I did it myself. When I was married, it was me and my ex, our 3 kids, and his brother lived with us, and he was handicapped. He could take care of himself, but still there was some things that we had to do for him, like make dinner and, throw away things or whatever, maybe change his bed. But I would just go crazy doing this and doing that, and I'm like nonstop. And sometimes too, think about this when you talk about being nonstop, and now I can see why I was nonstop all the time, because I was always just trying to avoid the fact that I didn't want to deal with what was going on in my house. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and now everything's changed and everything's good. But anyway, sometimes we have this battle that goes on within us, that part of our dungeon garbage, and I've talked about the dungeon before, it's everything that we don't want to deal with, that we kind of just swallow, and it goes down into this dungeon and gets locked up and we forget about it. And that's not really a great thing, of course, because you want to process these things, process it, heal it, let it go, all of that. But sometimes when people don't want to deal with what's in the dungeon, they stay super busy. They work too much. They're always looking for things to do. And I noticed that my ex was like that. I was always busy because it was a lot of my personality anyway. I'm a take care of everything person. So, it was take care of the kids, take care of him, take care of his brother, take care of the house, take care of the cat. It's like, a million things to take care of. And I did it all by myself. And I mean, he did help, he did a lot of the outside work, and he would do some stuff inside. I won't, give him props for that. But it was like, I noticed he always kept so busy. Like, he couldn't just sit still with nothing to do. He would get up and he would focus on, oh, this needs to be done and that needs to be done. Oh, that should be repainted again. I'm like, you just repainted that like 6 months ago. Yeah, I'm going to do it again. And I found out later that based on his personality and some other things and whatnot, that I think there was a lot that went on in his life that he avoided a lot. And he spent more time just working versus sitting still. And I think it was his way of avoiding whatever emotional or mental or whatever stuff he had down in the dungeon. And I think today that's a reflection of who he is. When I've seen him or my kids, mention things, and I'm like, it's just sad, because I think if you learn to deal with your stuff, it brings a lot more balance into your life. It really does. Hiding it and forgetting about it doesn't do it, because it just sits down there and it ferments, and it can ferment for years, lifetime. And what does that do? Nothing. It makes you sick. It really does. It just makes you sick. So bring balance into your life by healing. Healing is a big part of balance. When I do readings for people, a lot of times a life review card comes up and I'm like, okay, here you go. This is what you need to do. You need to start focusing on what's not working in your life. And everything that doesn't work in our lives always comes back to one thing: us. Okay? So people will come in and say, oh, my love life is this, my job is that, I'm arguing with my mother, this is falling apart, the car broke down. I'm like, whoa, first of all, what's going on with you? Because again, it all starts from here. And people say, well, I didn't cause my car to break down. I says, no, but energy is energy, okay? And things will happen no matter what. And when your energy is so off, that off type of energy, it becomes negative, and it sends it out into the ethers, if you want to call it that, in the universe, okay? And it creates this ripple effect where either arguments are happening or things are breaking and nothing's going right, and then you become very negative because you're so angry about all these things that aren't going right that you're like, oh, what else can happen? And then, well, the universe, well, here's something else that it can happen for you. So always look within. When things feel very off, always start within. What am I not doing? What am I not letting go of? What am I not healing? Right? So I have found that, and in all reality, I be as honest as possible, obviously, but work got really slow at one point. It was last year. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, my sister is always busy, and then I started getting slow. And I'm like, why am I slow? Why am I slowing down? What's going on? And then I said, okay, wait a minute. What's going on with me? Because maybe my energy is sending something out there that's creating this block, that it's creating things to be slow for me. And I'm like, what is that? And so I really reflected on what was going on with me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I did. I had some stuff going on with myself. Nothing crazy, but it was enough that it was creating this unbalance within myself. And of course, immediately knew, okay, we got to work on this. So I started to shift and started to change and started to let go and started to meditate and heal and, do all these different things that I do. And things started to improve. And I was like, there we go. So, it makes itself known. So if you feel like you're in a stuck place, you feel like you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing. And I know sometimes, being stuck means it's time for a pause. But if you're feeling unbalanced and stuck, why? Who haven't you let go of? Who haven't you spoke to? Who haven't you healed from? Right? What's going on with your job? Are you staying there because you're too scared to start somewhere else? Fear is a big thing. And then fear, it just makes things worse. And I know we all have fear. Believe me, we all have fear. But it should stay on the side of nervousness more than fear. Okay? Something new is always, change is scary. But you know what? It's also a good thing. It's only scary because we don't understand it yet. Right? Think about that. Let's say you're a teacher, okay? And you've been working at this school, the same school system for, say, 8 years, 10 years, or whatever. And now administration has changed and things have changed and you're not feeling the vibes anymore, okay? Now you can either stay there where the vibes just make you very unbalanced and you're not liking your job anymore. Now you're getting negative and you're feeling negative and you dread going to work and you just keep doing it because you're like, well, I've already got 8 to 10 years in, so why should I quit now? But you know what? In all reality, if you just quit and go to the next place, what if it's not the same? What if it's, what if it works? And we never look at that aspect. We never look at what if it works. So think about that. You make the change. You apply for jobs elsewhere. You get interviewed. They love you. They hire you just like that. It was so easy, right? That's a sign right there that it was a place to be. Now you go to this new place and go, oh my God, I should have done this a long time ago. And I know plenty of you out there have probably said that, where it was, why didn't I do this sooner? Fear. That's all it is, fear. So now you've changed jobs, you're happier, things are flowing, things are more balanced, right? More balanced. So think about that. It's a big deal. It truly is. What do you want out of life? Do you want to run around with a crazy person and your head all over the place and don't know whether you're coming or going, or you feel like garbage every day because you're so unbalanced? And think about that. What do you want to feel? What do you want to feel? Balance is a big thing. And it's very easy to become unbalanced. Because, again, some of the things that we deal with today, same thing in relationships. Whether it's a romantic relationship, a family relationship, or a friendship. What happens? You're doing all the work in your relationship. And I don't mean work, I mean emotional, mental, physical work in the relationship. And you're getting nothing back. And then you find yourself always going, I don't know if I should stay. Well, if you keep asking yourself that, obviously you don't want to be there. Because otherwise you wouldn't be asking. Right? So why keep asking? It's not working. You've tried to make it work. The other person isn't changing. You cannot change them. All you can do is change you. So what do you need to do? What do you need to do to create some balance in your life as far as your relationships go? And again, I don't care if it's romantic, family, or friend. If you're getting nothing back from that other person, maybe it's time to move on. Truly. Same thing with family. Family, we love them to death. But sometimes family can be the toughest people in our lives. It's unfortunate that people were raised a certain way that they carry on with that in a negative way. So maybe like your grandmother and grandfather were very negative, very old-fashioned, we'll say, and things are this way and there's no other way of doing it, and then your mother grows up in a sense of that attitude, and she carries it with her to you, and now you're carrying it with you to your kids, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, see this pattern here, the negative, and you wonder why your life is all upside down. Think about that. Do you have to put up with that? No, you don't have to put up with that. One thing I've always said many times in many different videos or classes that I've done, I don't care, family, friend, or otherwise, nobody should treat one human being terribly. No human should no human should treat another human being badly. It's wrong. It's wrong. To me, whoever created up the rule that those are your parents, you should honor them no matter what. I don't think so. No, I'm sorry. If my parent is going to tell me how rotten I am, they're going to tell me how bad I am, how stupid I am, how useless I am, how I can't get anything right. I mean, luckily for me, my parents didn't do that to me. But there are parents out there who do that to their kids. Do you need to put up with that? No. Would you expect that from a stranger, from your best friend, from anybody? No. So why would you expect it from the person closest to you? Is it sad? Well, yeah, it is. But that creates an unbalance in your life because now again, you are allowing that kind of energy into your life. It's unfortunate when it's your parents, your siblings, whatever it may be, but that's when you have to say, you know what, I love you, you're my mom, you're my dad, you're my whoever, but I'm sorry, I will not tolerate this behavior because I think it's very negative of how you talk about me, and it's not very nice. And if they don't like it, oh well. Do not tolerate any kind of bad behavior from anybody. If you would not accept bad behavior from a stranger, sure as shit, you should not be accepting it from your family. So think about that. That is something that can get you very unbalanced. That's emotionally unbalanced, right? So again, balance comes in all different directions: emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, all of that. And even spiritual. We talk about spiritual, it's like, where are you in your spiritual journey, we'll call it, okay? What is your spiritual path? Is it religious? Is it Catholic? Is it Protestant? Is it any other religion out there? I don't know, there's so many of them. Is it just spiritual, like myself? I take what feels right to me and I go with that. I trust that something bigger than myself. I trust and believe that whatever I need is there for me. I trust and believe that things will work out. I trust and believe that somebody is guiding me and helping me on my path of life. So that's who I am. So who are you as far as your spiritual journey? Even if you're religious, I mean, I'm very open to whatever anybody does. I don't care what they do. It's whatever sits well with you. So even if you're religious, are you in a religion that sits well with you, or are you in a religion that you're forced into and stick with because you were told that's what you were supposed to do? When we don't make decisions for ourselves, what happens is we do become very unbalanced spiritually. Because let's say you've been going to church your whole life, every Sunday, right? And you go because it's the thing to do, and it's a habit, it's a routine, right? But yet when you're there, for some reason, it just doesn't sit well with you. And you can't figure out why. Like, I'm supposed to be here, but why doesn't it feel right to me? Well, that's somebody up there guiding you and giving you that nudge, like, you're not where you need to be. So be open-minded to your spiritual journey. I mean, my grandparents were super duper Catholics, and they would get so mad, especially my grandmother, so mad if I didn't go to church. And a lot of times I went because, it made my grandmother happy. My parents weren't too pushy about it, but even as I got older, I was like, I didn't want to force my kids into any type of a religion. I remember my mother saying, you have to believe in something. I'm like, but I do believe in something. I believe there's something bigger than myself out there, and to me, I believe my children should be allowed to figure that out for themselves, which they all did, and but I was married, so I mean, he was Catholic. He insisted that they go to, CCD classes every Sunday and church and whatnot. So, for the first 6 years, they did it. They hated it. It got to the point that once we had separated, I looked at my kids and I'm like, do you really want to do this? And they were like, oh God, no, please, do we have to do this anymore? I hate it. Like, when it came time to go, it was like, oh my God, it was complete dread on all three of their faces. And I'm going, okay. And I know, kids will say things that, I don't like it, it's boring, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that kind of energy I was getting from them. It was absolute dread. Please don't make us go. Because it just did not feel right to them. So I told them they didn't have to. So those are the things that bring balance into your life, spiritual things. Are you where you're supposed to be? Are you where you feel comfortable? Is this your space? Is this what you're meant to do? Is this where you're meant to be? Your work is the same thing, your family, your friends. There's so many little aspects of your life. Oh my gosh. It's like maybe you've had pets in the past and your pets have passed on and you're alone with no pets and you feel off and lonely. It's like, you think maybe you should get a new pet because that's probably what they're trying to tell you, But you're like, oh, well, and because we don't want to see them die. And I get that. I mean, I have pets. I've had pets my whole life. So, it makes it hard. But again, if it's leaving you sad and lonely because you don't have it, then why not go get it? There's so many different things in life. I want you to have balance. I want you to have peace. I want you to have, oh my God, Zen, right? Find your center, right? Be able to get up in the morning, put your feet on the floor, be grateful for being alive, take a deep breath, and then move forward, right? To whatever your day is going to bring you. But don't put so much into one day. Spread your things out. Breathe. Take time to relax. Take time to reflect. Take time to heal if you need it. Make sure you take the time, because if not, the universe is going to do it for you, and you don't want it that way because it's not going to be pleasant. I can tell you that much. Anytime I have not stopped and they hit me with a cold that was just, knocked me on my butt, and I'm like, oh man, we don't want that. So think about those things. If it's not working for you, fix it, change it, or let it go. If you need something for yourself, same thing. Do something about it. Make it happen. You're the one in control of all this balance. So if your plate is too full, take some stuff off your plate. Ask for help. And maybe learn to say no. Because part of balance is learning to say no and have boundaries. And that's been a whole other thing I've had a video on, is boundaries. Boundaries are definitely a huge thing with people. It's like, oh, can you help me with this? Oh, can you do that for me? Oh, can you do this for me? And it's like, okay. I mean, you really don't want to. Set some boundaries. All right, you know what? I will help you. I can give you 2 hours of my time. After that, I have to go. Or you know what? I'm sorry, I can't right now. Not today, not this weekend. How about next? You be honest. Be honest. We all have a big heart and we all want to help. But then what's it doing to us? Everybody else is happy and we're miserable and sick because the universe just knocked us on our butt because we're doing way too much again, right? So you want to feel fulfilled, you want to feel peace, you want to feel harmony, happiness, joy, all of those things, right? Have some balance in your life. It's a big deal. It truly is. So with that being said, that's where I'm going to leave you. And just so you know, this is my last video series of life and spiritual coaching. But it's not over completely because I have decided, and this was another nudge from the universe, you need to do this. I'm like, okay. I'm starting my own podcast, which starts April 10th, which is tomorrow. And it's called Mama Christine's Podcast. And it's going to be based on the same types of ideas, a lot of life coaching, spiritual coaching, life in general, spirituality, intuition, you name it, whatever it is, it's coming up, it's coming up. The difference is going to be that with the podcast, there will be times where I might just toss out some questions or ask for your questions and then answer them on the podcast. I might even throw in a guest appearance from someone at some point, right? So it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different, and you'll be able to find it on Spotify. I will have a link set up at some point, but I'll make sure that it gets loaded to YouTube as well, so you guys can watch it. But it's Mama Christine's Podcast, and it's all about living life through experience. That's its name. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to all of you getting to listen to it. And I pray that everything that I bring forward to you guys helps you out in any way. Even if it's one thing I say that helps you, then I feel like I've done something good. But that's it for this evening. Stay in balance, stay strong, release, let go, heal, fix it, change it, or let it go. But keep balance in your life. You need that. We all need that, right? Balance. Breathe. You're gonna be okay. So feel free to watch my videos anytime you want right here on YouTube. If not, like I said, every Thursday evening by 7 p.m., my videos will be there on the podcast on Spotify. It's called Mama Christine's Podcast. And I look forward to doing it and bringing you guys tons of information and good conversation and a little more interaction with all of you. All right, guys, take care. Thanks so much. See you soon.